This is Russ. Yeah, I'm back out on the road again. Yeah, it rained the last 2 days. Yeah, it rained this morning too. You can see that the road is still a little bit wet. I'm getting a little drizzled on from the, I think from the raindrops that are coming off the leaves on the trees. Let me check my camera here, make sure that you guys aren't all in the fog there. You know, when the raindrops hit the lens, you know, kind of messes you up. So anyway, what am I riding today? I am back on the Bolton eBikes, also known as Area 13 Blackbird. Yeah, it's actually labeled Bolton eBikes on this bike, but of course the company had the name change to Area 13 about a year or so ago, something like that. So where am I headed out today? I don't know. Do I ever know? I'm just heading out. I thought I might even be rained out again today, in which case then I'd be doing another inside video. Now, I want to reserve those inside videos for during the winter months, not like during the month of September. But you know, rainy season, those type of things, they hold you off just as much as snow does. So I was looking at comments. The last video I posted was about give me your suggestions to manufacturers. I will be contacting a couple of the manufacturers, let them know that the video is out there, let them watch it, and then they'll be reading your comments. So if you haven't made a comment yet, you can go back to that video and post a comment there. Okay, let them know what you're interested in. What would be the ideal bike for you? What price range would you be willing to pay for something like that as well? I had some comments, of course, that people were said that I was kind of privileged to be able to ride a whole bunch of different type of bikes. That's true. I am. I'm privileged. I have had my fair share of bikes come through. Never would have thought that would have happened, but that's how it turned out. Yeah, started out with Magicycle giving me a bike, and then the next thing you know, other companies are giving me bikes as well. I was just checking my speedometer speed. I'm showing 16.8 and it showed 16 miles an hour. So yeah, the Bolton eBikes or Area 13 bike is accurate in terms of the speedometer. But yeah, Magicycle started out, gave me a bike, and then I think KBO was the second company that gave me a bike. KBO actually was one that I actually requested. I saw the KBO Breeze and said, yeah, it looks like a nice bike. I wonder if they'd give me one. So I contacted them and they gave me one. I think they were the only company that actually gave me something after I asked them for it. And then from that point on, I just left it to whatever manufacturers contacted me. I would then consider or not consider taking their bike. So yeah, I continue to maintain that policy so far. I don't know if that'll change in the future, but I just let the manufacturers contact me if they have an interest in me reviewing a bike that they have. So if they don't contact me, chances are I won't be reviewing the bikes. I mean, it could get to a point where nobody ever sends me another bike. That's possible. But like I said, that this channel started out really not as a bike review channel. It's more about me riding my bike and having some fun and helping my knees out. So anyway, I appreciate all who responded up to that point. And for those who, again, it's not too late, go ahead and put some comments in there. I'm sure they'll go back and look over it a couple of days too. Because yeah, the videos, you know, when they come out, most people watch it on the day that it comes out. But that's not always the case. Over time, I can see that the view counts go up. Sometimes people are late. Sometimes, you know, they have things they're not watching it on a daily basis. They may go back and watch something. And other times, it just rings well with them, and then they watch it a second time too. So, who knows? All right, so we're going to turn here. We're going to make sure there's no cars. Yep, there we go. I always take this sidewalk because I'm just going over to this entranceway. Only one time where I actually went onto the street and then came back in, but it seems like such a waste to go out on the street, then make a left turn into here. What's the point? I might as well just take the sidewalk at that point, right? Hey, nobody's playing pickleball. Yeah, too wet for them, I guess. All right, so anyway, the interesting thing with this Blackbird bike, you might have noticed in the past that it does have a front fender, but the fender is way up there. It's got an inverted fork. Now the inverted fork is because it's kind of like a motorcycle suspension. They have inverted forks too, from what I'm told. I'm not a motorcycle guy, so I don't know for sure, but that's what they tell me. And because it's an inverted fork, if they had the fender directly next to the tire, it would like slam into the fender if that was the case. All right, let's go this way here. Thank you. All right, so yeah, it's a heavy traffic there. So yeah, so the fender has to be above it. So I always wondered, you know, does that really help? Well, I still try to avoid the puddles. I don't want to test it out. Let me go over one here. Well, I guess it helps a little bit. Yeah, it's not going to be as good as a fender that's right next to the wheel, right? It's pretty much could tell that that's going to be the case. Anyways, this bike is still available for sale for those who are interested. I'm surprised and not surprised that hasn't been that much request for this bike from the viewers. First off, you have to live in this general area or willing to come to this general area to get the bikes, because I don't ship them. Some have mentioned maybe I should just ship them. Well, I'd have to get a box, because I don't have the boxes for these things anymore. I'd have to get a box, and then I'd have to deal with shipping, and it would probably cost like $150 or more to ship it. Yeah, it doesn't, you know, it kind of kills the whole discount feel of the thing, right? So I just leave it for those who are local or willing to come to Chicago. And a number of you guys have come to Chicago, you know, and not even from the Chicago area, come from out of state and come in to pick up one of my bikes. So I have lowered the prices on some of the bikes, so whatever's left is still up on the RUSSISRIGHT.blogspot.com site. You can see that there's some really good deals going on. Some of them you can save like $1,000, I think, something like that, close to 1,000. I don't know. Go take a look at it. So this bike, I didn't reset the trip meter on here. So I don't know what I'm doing right now. Let's see. Well, since the last time I took it out, which was the other day, I've done 17 miles. Don't know what the total mileage is. I'm not looking at it right now. Now, most of these bikes have under 100 miles, so they do pretty well for when you're ready to buy some of the bikes that I have available. The only ones that had heavy duty mileage, I'm still probably riding, and I think the only other one that had heavy duty mileage was the Rad Rover 5, which was discounted dramatically, and so that's already gone. Somebody's already picked that up. Okay, so I'm looking out at all this stuff here on the side here. They've cut everything down, it looks like. Yeah, let's ride up over there. I'll show you what this bike looks like too, since we're there. I always go here when I do my reviews. Let me get over here. Yeah, what they did is they cut down all the vegetation that's hanging out over here in preparation for the winter months, I guess. Yeah, so everything's cleared out, cleaner. I usually come here because there's nobody that usually walks down this area, because it kind of dead ends over there up ahead. Yeah, let's stop here. All right, let me get off the bike. This is a big bike, I'll tell you that. Let's flip it around here. Give you a good view of it. Let's get the kickstand down here. I always try to get the wheels to line up right. There you go. Yeah, this is a big bike. I like this bike. And the only reason I'm moving it on is because we don't have space and we got too many bikes to go. So I figured I'd let go one of the bigger ones. You do have to be kind of tall. I would say a minimum of 5'10". You need at least a 32-inch inseam. Maybe 33 would be even better, because you know the clearance to get over the top of this area, I would say you need at least 32 inches. So if your inseam is less than that, don't consider this bike. You'll be hitting the top when you hop off of it. But yeah, they've got good components on here. Here's that inverted fork right here. So the suspension is down here. Let's try to angle so you can see, rather than up here on many other bikes. So because of that, this thing has to have a high clearance because this whole wheel is going to move up and down. I think the only issue I have with this bike so far is the metal part here started to crack off, so I ended up just putting some electrical tape to put it in there, but it holds up fine. It's not a problem. I can never get this thing to stay where you want it. It always tends to lean the other way. Try to balance this thing. See, no matter what, it's always going to lean. It's because the bike is leaning, you know, because of the kickstand. It's got SRAM derailleurs. This is the X5, which is a better derailleur. It's got a Bafang motor on here, 750 watt Bafang motor. Externally mounted controller, externally mounted battery with an on-off switch here. I like these in a sense because you can actually get to them for repairs or anything like that, or upgrades. So if anything else that came out and you wanted to change it, you can change it easier. Trigger shifters right here. Yeah. So everything will be put back to the way it came, so you're not going to get the Bikeroo saddle. I'm going to take that off, put back their original saddle. I usually remove my mirrors because I need it for the other bikes. Cell phone mount will be removed. Yeah, but other than that, yeah, it's what it is. Oh, I mounted my water bottle cage here. There's no setups for water bottle cages, so I just mounted on the rear rack. There you go. Yeah, let's get back on. Let's ride around. So for me to get on this bike, because I don't have much clearance either, is I tilt the bike and then I get on it. That's how I usually do it. There's another e-bike here. I don't know what it was. It's got a little baby carrier in the back. So I'll set that up there for you there. Let's go down this way. The thing is, you know, when you take the bike out after a rain, you always wonder if you're going to get splattered or not. That's why I usually like having fenders. I'm going to have to stop here because I can't cross with them. Hello? Yeah, this is the narrowest bridge we have on our trails. So if you have two people crossing through, there's no way you can get through it. Best to let one come through and then you walk, then you ride over it. Yeah, you know, the thing after a rain, it gets kind of humid as you're out here riding. But when I left the house, it was about 71 degrees or so, something like that, I believe. Let me see what it says on here. Yeah, 71 degrees. Now, again, these things, I don't know what the deal is. Here it shows 78 degrees. Kind of like the display for the electric bike company has a very similar display. And that one's always off too. That one's never right either. I think what it does, it probably reads the temperature as the sun comes down and hits it, rather than the ambient air temperature out here. That's my guess. At times it looked pretty good, but when you got sun coming down, not so good, right? Anyways, this bike is a torque sensor bike, so the harder you pedal, the faster you go. I can ride this torque sensor with no problem. This is one of the few that I actually can do pretty well on. has a throttle, of course, too, so you can throttle up. I think it is set up for a pseudo class 3 thing. I call it that because it's, you know, it can throttle up to 28 miles an hour as well. You know, pure class 3 would be throttle should cut out at 20 miles an hour, and then to get to 28 you'd have to pedal it. But you can throttle this up there, go a little faster if you wanted to. You know, to do these things you have to unlock the bike. You have to go into the settings and then tell it that you want to go faster. So pretty much all my bikes I've done that, where if they have that as an option, if it allows you to go quicker, I usually will turn it on. I mean, nothing says you have to go that fast. You can go as slow as you want. But if you want to go fast, then you have the option to do it, right? If you turn it on. If you don't turn it on, then you have no option to do it. Then you're kind of stuck to the slower speeds. Got a duck. During the as the season goes on, these tree branches kind of overhang a little bit too much, so I end up having to duck a lot of times. I get hit on the head from the trees. Yeah, did we ever do a hill test on this bike? I don't know if we ever did or not. Let's do a hill test. We're in the area for the hill test. Let's do it. Let's see what it does. Yeah, I don't think we ever did one for this. I only incorporated the hill test after a certain amount of time had gone by, and then I thought, hey, yeah, why don't we just check how good the hill climbing is on these bikes. So I found the hill that's the largest hill we have, and then what we usually do is we just throttle. We start at a dead stop, and then we throttle up, and then whatever the fastest speed is as we go over the apex of the hill, that's our gauge. So yeah, we'll do that with this bike. This bike has a decent amount of battery on it now because I charged it up yesterday fully. Didn't take it out until today. So we should have a fairly strong battery going up there. You know, the thing is, if your batteries are low and you try to do a hill test, it's not really fair to the bike because, you know, it doesn't have the same amount of power available to it from the battery. So you really want to do the hill test when the batteries are fresh. And again, if somebody's on the hill, we have to abort at that point. We can't blast through them unless they're standing to a certain side where I can do it and not be in danger of people, or put the people in danger, that is. All right, so here's the bridge. We just stop at the bridge, and usually I don't do a dead stop because then I have to hop off the bike. But we'll go as slow as we can to essentially be stopped. All right, let's hit the throttle. You know, these things here, it showed me at 4 miles an hour. I wasn't at 4 miles an hour. I was probably at 0.5 miles an hour. They don't come down as fast as they go up on these things. So pedal assist level 3, but this thing doesn't matter. It's whatever it is. It just gives you full power, no matter what it is. So let's see what we're at. 10.4, 10.4, 10.2. No, that was 11.2. 10.4. So 10.4 miles per hour going over the hill. That's not bad. Yeah, that's pretty decent. Pretty much is the same as many of the other bikes. There are some that do better. Yeah, some of them have gone as much as 14 miles an hour, but those are bikes with some bigger motors with lots of torque. Yeah. This one, not too bad. This bike actually is not as heavy as you might think. It's a big frame, I mean physically tall frame, but it's not as heavy as some of my other bikes, really. In fact, the bike has so much kick to it that if you hit the throttle hard, it'd lift up the front tire. Yeah, you could do a semi-wheelie on this bike if you started out quickly and hit the throttle. So I tend to always throttle slower when I use this bike. I tend to lean in a little bit to it too, kind of keep that front wheel down with a little bit more weight or something to keep it from popping up on me. Yeah, it's got some power to it. It's got power, not necessarily the best of torque compared to some of the other bikes. So, but unless you're climbing hills constantly like that, which is very rare for people in this area, you'd never notice any issue with it at all. But you know, if you have a lot of hills, then I would suggest looking at maybe like some of the Magicycle ones, because they have better torque. Those are the ones that'll do up to like 14 miles an hour over the top of that hill. Yeah, some of the people I see that are walking are people I see all the time. We'll just do a head nod, you know. And I think they start recognizing me too. All right. We'll head into the forest preserve. So what else is going on? Well, I find it interesting that some of the comments lately, I don't know if I mentioned it on another video or not, but definitely some jealousy issues from some commenters. All right, let's see. I'll make sure I'm clear here. Yeah, some commenters, you can tell that they're not happy with the fact that I have multiple bikes. But you know, the thing is, if your bike is so big, I'm trying to maneuver it around here and still get to this button. Here we go. Gotta push the button, otherwise you don't get the either way, we still didn't get it. We didn't get the cross thing. You know, if you get there too late, then you don't get it, of course. Alrighty, let's see what's going on here. Guy's just standing in the middle there, putting on his earbuds. But no, I've noticed that some of the comments, which I had to delete, of course, you know, they call you out for being a guy that has multiple bikes, and the thing is, that's how it works on YouTube. All right, guys who do reviews, yeah, they're gonna get product. How else do they do reviews? I don't know how else they would do it. Well, I guess you could buy them. You could buy them and do a review, but I'm not gonna do that. I don't have infinite amount of money to do that. But if the companies give it to me, yeah, they're gonna give it to you in exchange for making a video. So I had a guy who asked me, you know, how many points do I get from Magicycle for doing this Magicycle review? And I answered him. I just basically said that, well, I'm a Magicycle influencer for them on YouTube. And then of course the next comment was he called me out, called me a name. You know, the thing is if let's take the shortcut here. If you can't handle the fact that people on YouTube get bikes for review, then you probably shouldn't be watching YouTube. Because all of the, I wouldn't say all, but a good chunk of us get our bikes given to us in exchange for the reviews. Now, they have not told me to say good things only or bad things only. I can say whatever I want to say. It's just so happened that the bikes happen to be good. I did say one time that I was a little disappointed, and that was on the 48-volt Jaguar Rundy, because the bike went from a 52 to a 48, and I noticed it didn't climb the hills as good anymore. So yeah, I say what I want to say. They don't tell me what I can say or can't say. By the way, people have asked me about that bike, if I'd be willing to sell it. No, can't sell it, not yet. That will be a bike that I will lend out to family and friends who ask, you know, if they want to try a bike out or something, at least have that bike available. And being a folding bike, it's easy to transport around. So, nope, I still got to hang on to it. So yeah, we have 3 Jaguar Undies, 252 volts and 148. The 252 volt ones we hang on to because when I go riding with Mrs. Wright and we go places, those are usually the ones we take with us because it's just easier, it's lighter in weight, easier to deal with. Alright, we gotta wait for this thing again here. Yeah, they just need a push button thing. Oh look, I see something attached over there. Maybe they're gonna put a push button thing. Do you guys see that right by the stop sign there? I see some electronic stuff there. Maybe they're getting ready to finally put one on there. Or they're measuring how many people cross this maybe? Okay, one guy's stopped, but the other side hasn't. So we're gonna go now. Okay. We say thank you. Yeah, there's something here. Oh yeah, it looks like they're finally thinking about putting something there. That's about time, man. I just looked at it, it looked like some electronic stuff. I don't know if they're just measuring to see how many people actually use it or what. But all they need is that push button thing that kind of temporarily stops the traffic. It doesn't stop them, but usually puts like blinking yellow lights just to warn people that, hey, these guys are here waiting to cross, and then if both sides stop, guy can cross and then you can move on. That's all they need. They should have had that years ago. So let's see, maybe by next year or the end of this year, maybe we'll see that up there. Good, I'm happy for that. That made my day right there. All right. Yeah, the thing is with some of these bad comments, I'm not the only one that gets it. You know, I've been watching some of the other channels too, and they get it too, and they've mentioned it as well. That sometimes they get comments that are just not kind. And it happens to all of us. Yeah. Oh, let me say one more thing too. Another thing came across. Had nothing to do with our channel or anything, but he asked me the question where he wanted to know, you know, somebody was supposedly you've won a free computer or something like that. Now you got to pay for the shipping. Don't do that, okay? Those are scams. Don't pay for anything. If somebody's giving something away, yeah, if somebody's giving something away, don't pay for shipping. They're not going to ask you for shipping. I mean, if it's a giveaway, everything should be a given away. They shouldn't be asking you for any type of money. So if you see that, just run the other way. All right, don't pay them. Yeah, those are scams. YouTube is loaded with stuff like that. We used to get that too when we at one time announced that it was at our 10,000 subscribers thing. Magicycle was giving away some free mirrors and stuff like that to help celebrate with us, and so once the scammers got hold of the fact that there was something being given away, they were contacting everybody saying that you won this and won that. And yeah, let me say this about the Russ is Right channel. If you ever see anything of that with the Russ is Right channel, know this: Russ is cheap. He's not giving you anything. He's not giving you anything, and if I give you something, I'm giving it to you, and you're not paying anything for it, okay? And I've put in safeguards so that only you would know that it was definitely me contacting you about it, all right? But then, you know, these guys, they'll even steal our photos and our names and everything like that, and make it look like I'm contacting you that way. But you'll know if it comes from me, okay? Certain phrases, certain things that I say, you know, it's just uniquely me. You would know it's from me, all right? Those guys don't know all this stuff. So, Yeah, if you ever see, hey, Russ said that I won this. No, you haven't. You'll know it when I finally do it. And it'll always be done on video. You'll see it coming out of my mouth on a video. Okay, it's not going to be hidden anywhere. So, yeah, if you don't hear me announce your name out of my mouth on a video, on a visual, it's not me. All right. Yeah. All right. Any new bikes coming in? Well, one was supposed to be coming in, and they told me they were going to ship it. Haven't seen it yet. I keep looking at that FedEx thing. Nothing's been logged in for shipping. So I don't know what's taking them so long. This is from one of our existing manufacturers. It's not a bike that we haven't worked with before. Last week I reminded them about it. They said, oh yeah, okay, we'll send it. Still haven't seen anything. I keep wondering whether I should contact them. I decided, I'm not going to. I'm just going to let it sit until they figure it out. Let them figure out that, hey, where's that review? Oh no, we didn't even ship it. I didn't say anything. Let's see what happens. No, there's times that I've actually had to remind the manufacturers. They'll tell me in advance sometimes, hey, we got a bike coming out for you. And then it doesn't happen. I have to remind them. Oh, I think this is one of the people I usually see. Let me see. If so, I'll have to edit this out. Oh, no, it isn't. Somebody else. Now, sometimes people look the same until you get up closer. They go, no, that's not them. Yeah, you ever do that? You think it's somebody, you wave to them, and it turns out it's not even that person. Then you look like an idiot. No, it's definitely humid, but it's got a nice breeze. So it's making it tolerable at least. Yeah, well, I just wanted to take it out, give it a ride. I took this bike out the other day and had some technical difficulties, and people were asking me, what happened? Is your GoPro got a problem? No. What had happened was I turned on my audio recorder, because I use a separate audio recorder. I turned on my GoPro, and then I rode for a little bit, then as I usually do, and then I went to check to see if the audio recorder was on, and it was. So then I figured, it's time to turn on the camera, so I hit the button. Well, that essentially turned off the camera because it was already on. So I rode the entire thing and I didn't record anything. So when I went to turn it off, that's when I ended up turning it on again. So when I went to review the footage, all I ended up having was footage of my house, because I was recording in the house, not outside. Yep, rookie mistake. Didn't realize it wasn't recording and ended up reversing everything. So stuff I didn't want recorded, and those things that I wanted recorded, camera wasn't even running. How do you like that? So I couldn't use that footage because there was no footage. Nothing to do with the equipment failure. It's just let's push this button here. Alright, let's move this bike around. This bike is hard to move because it's so big. It's bigger than I'm able to do sometimes. So, torque sensor is trying to push me forward. It's thinking I'm trying to push forward and it's moving on me. Okay. That's the thing with some of these, the sensors are so sensitive that when I was pushing forward to try to reposition the bike, it's thinking I'm pedaling forward, so it's trying to give me assistance and it's pushing me forward when I'm trying to go backwards. Things that you should be aware of when you get a bike that can happen to you if you're not careful. All right. Let's cut through here. This is where we usually go for our shortcut. We'll go reverse, go the other way this time, and get back. Anyway, I appreciate you guys watching today, staying with me, keeping me company. Like I said many times, if it wasn't for you guys, I think my bike rides would be kind of boring. Give me something to do with talking to you guys. Anyways, if you liked the video, go ahead and hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. We are moving up, yeah. We're shooting towards 17,000. Give it a little time, we'll hit 17,000. A couple weeks maybe. Maybe 2-3 weeks, we should hit 17,000 maybe, if we're lucky. Yeah, I have this goal to see if we can hit 20,000 by the end of the year. I don't think that's really possible, but you can never tell. I mean, you really can't tell. Things move quickly, sometimes it drags out, so. Anyways, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so, it helps me out. I'll talk to you guys next time.